my name is Riley, and this is my 2022 bullet journal setup. As you can see, I'm a very new channel, and I've been bullet journaling for about 6 years now, 5 or 6 years, but this is my first year really putting everything on YouTube, so bear with me. And this video is going to be particularly interesting because I'm actually going to be filming it over the course of several days, which I know some YouTubers do, but they don't make that very obvious. And I might be doing things out of order. I'm also waiting for some stickers in the mail that I will be going back and adding to spreads, but there are some spreads I need to start using now. I'm starting to film this on the 30th, so it'll be kind of all over the place. But at the very end, you'll see the final result, and hopefully you like it. So I'm using this Archer and Olive journal. It is a faux leather bound. It was from the collaboration with Plant-Based Bride, a channel that I watch religiously, and whose work inspires some of the spreads in here, as well as some other YouTubers that I will be highlighting throughout. I'll be going over other products later, but I have her acrylograph pens through Archer and Olive as well, and they are beautiful and I cannot wait to use them. So I don't know if her products are still on sale or on the website, but if you haven't gotten one already and have a chance, please go get one of these. It's beautiful. Mine's B5. Comes with all the things these notebooks come with nowadays, the 2 bookmarks, the pen holder, the sealing strap, etc., dot grid. Just as a fun, cute little aside, my partner picked this out for me. So starting last Christmas, we decided that every Christmas he will buy me my bullet journal for the year, or for most of the year. I usually go through more than one, but this will be my primary one for the year, and I think it's really cute, and so I wanted to share that. So to start, we're doing a cover page. I actually have never done a cover page quite like this before in any of my previous bullet journals, but because I do look at it every day when I open the journal, I figured I wanted to kind of welcome myself into the journal. And then when I look back on these, decades from now, I'll know which year this was for. So using the gold acrylograph pen as well as a hard tip Tombow Fudenosuke pen, I decided to write 2022. I did hand sketch these, and it took a while because I couldn't quite make the twos look identical. So if you don't have a lot of time, probably it would be best to print out a stencil, but I still like the way they turned out. And then obviously I'm putting my name, and I'll go back and put my phone number in later. And this idea was kind of inspired by Elizabeth from Plant-Based Bride's bullet journal for her husband for 2022. So you should definitely go check that out, and you can see where the inspiration kind of came from. Next, I'm working on the future log. This is a very important spread for me, a little bit less so in the past 2 years for a lot of us, but I do find that I have to, especially as someone who has a ton of doctor's appointments, I need a place to keep track of all of those, and my family's all over the place, so I might try and go travel and everything. So it's just really helpful to have kind of a dump space for all of my future events. I'm only doing 6 months because I probably will only use this journal for 6 months, and I can always add another page later. And I'm starting with February because I'm immediately going to be writing January events in the January spread, so it doesn't really make sense to also use that space in the future log. As far as design goes, one of the design elements that I'm trying to keep consistent throughout the journal is just these gold straight lines. It's really subtle, but hopefully will tie everything together, especially at the end. I think it worked out really well to give kind of a unifying theme to the whole journal. And then, I just used Tombow dual brush pens for the circles for each month, wrote the first letter of the month. I printed out mini calendars on sticker paper so I could just peel and stick them onto this craft paper, which was just some extra paper wrapping I had lying around. You really don't need to always buy a bunch of stuff to make things look nice. So next is the vision board, and I'm gonna do this in real time very briefly because I wanted to show kind of what I was thinking when I designed this page. So as you can see, probably, there are some boxes in kind of different places, and each one of them has a little note in it. And so I was using the Michelle B method of visioning, where you look at your different, you look at your life circle and you kind of map out your vision for each parts of the life circle, and I will paste that somewhere. And I decided to combine some of them and only focus on the ones that I really wanted to focus on for this year. And originally I was thinking about putting pictures, you know, like the standard vision board, but I've never been someone to have like a vision board with photos in it. So what I decided to do instead was, again, categorize things that were like, so home and environment are one, relationships is love and friends and family, physical and mental well-being are together, career and finance are together. And what I decided to do as well is follow her suggestion of doing an anti-vision and a vision. So you write an anti-vision, which is where you don't want to be at the end of the year, or whatever your timeline is, and then your vision obviously is the opposite of that, and it can really help you to really get a sense of, you know, if this is where I don't want to be, now I really know where I want to be. And those are very personal, so I didn't really want them out and about. And also, I thought it would be really interesting to reflect back on them at the end of the year and see if I met my vision. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make little handmade envelopes for each of these squares, and I'm going to put my vision and my anti-vision in there. And then I'm going to add some doodles around each of them with kind of the images for my vision, just because I want to give it a little bit more flair. And then here I'm going to be putting tangible goals, so things that aren't, or things that I could physically do that I'm interested in doing this year. So one of them is going camping, and one is going to see the Niagara Falls, and you know, things like that. So that'll be here. And then I'm gonna try to find some quote about visions and, you know, the journey, or something that really feels meaningful to me, because I'm not really a quote person, but if I'm going to pick one, I want it to really reflect what I want 2022 to look like. So in order to make those envelopes, what I did was I took this giant piece of paper, which I got from a coloring pencil sketchbook, and I basically just kind of eyeballed the size of the box that I want, which is therefore the size of the envelope, and then I did 2 times that. And then I made the little triangle that's going to be kind of the fold over for the envelope. And so now I'm just going to cut them out, and then I'm going to fold them. I'm going to paste them in the vision board, and then we'll see what happens next. So back to the time lapse. Voiceover Riley here to say that this ended up being quite the hassle in a way I wasn't expecting, mostly because I didn't exactly know what my end goal was. So I would definitely give you the advice to get a sense of what your end goal probably is, and say if you are thinking about gluing things down, maybe clean out your glue bottle before you decide to start recording. But also, a paintbrush can always be an easy way to work with glue if the tip of the bottle is way too gunky. You can always unscrew the cap and then just use a paintbrush and paint the glue where you need it. So after all that running around with the glue, in true Riley fashion, I realized that I actually didn't want these to be as sealed as I thought. I thought it would be much cooler if I could just pop them open when I feel like and kind of read through them. So that's what I'm doing. But what I am gonna do is I'm going to write everything and then on a separate piece of paper and then glue it in later. So the glue's fine. And you know, I'm just gonna erase some of the pencil marks. But it'll be time to put these in the vision board again. Also, as you can see, I am not without error, obviously. None of us are. But I really appreciated kind of playing around with this as I went. I realized that it would be better to kind of cut the bottom a bit and have this little bit of excess envelope folding in case the paper is particularly thick when everything's done, but we'll see. And then that way as well, as I open it, I can add to it, I can change it, I can put extra things in there, maybe like a sticky note or something. But yeah, so this is going to be added into the vision board now. So now we're back putting my envelopes into the vision board so you can see kind of what I was describing earlier. I ended up really liking this, even given all of the changes I kept making. What I ended up with, I really enjoyed. So I'm gluing everything down where it belongs. I'm using the Tombow mono glue tape, and I will be going back later with some stickers. Like I said in the intro, I was waiting for some stickers to arrive. They didn't arrive when I was filming this, but they did before the flip through. So it'll be a little bit more decorated when you see the end. But in the interim, I'm using another one of the acrylograph pens, and this one is an olive color. I don't remember off the top of my head what the name was, but it's really beautiful and also a little bit daunting for me. I love olive colors, but I have a really hard time kind of utilizing them in a way I find visually appealing. I'm pretty happy with the lettering. That was another thing I did from scratch. I kind of just looked at a font that I was interested in and kind of made it myself. I do go back and edit this lettering a little bit later. A Uniball Signo white gel pen. I find those are really useful for quote-unquote erasing little mistakes. You just kind of put the gel pen over the error and you don't really notice it. It's actually pretty useful. And so I also decided on my intention, kind of my vision intention, as it were, for the year, which I chose: remember, focus on systems, not on outcomes. So this isn't like a specific quote from anyone that I'm aware of, but it is something I learned a while back, and I wish I could remember where I heard it first. But in learning how to manage my ADHD, I have learned the hard way that it is much better to develop systems that you kind of make part of your daily life than trying to make, these big end goals, because they're daunting, they're impossible to plan, and you're not going to get the dopamine you need. So instead, you make systems in your life, whether it's habits, whether it's reorganizing and keeping things that you want to do closer to where you want to do them, or other little things like that I'll talk about in another video in the future. But basically, I just wanted to remember that for the year. Moving on, this is a When Did I Last spread. I think I also got this one from Plant-Based Bride initially, but I have seen it done in other videos. But basically, it's just a place where I can list tasks that I don't do often but need to be repeated, and the last time I did them. Again, I have significant memory issues, so it's really helpful to be able to actually look at this list and go, yes, the last time that I washed the car was on, December 31st or something. It's just a really great kind of catch-all place. And I made the design really simple for this one. It's literally just a list. It wasn't really much creative freedom in there. And I think you also just saw me cut a tab. So I actually, the next few items in the intro section do have their own tabs. I decided to do this in lieu of an index because, one, I just thought it would look really nice. Two, it seems like it would be a little bit easier for reference. And yeah, new journals are a time to try new things. So this is also a new spread of mine. This is a cleaning list. And when I say of mine, I mean it's new to me. This one I got from Destinee Folmar Creates. in their 2022 bullet journal setup. There's a few spreads coming up in this section that also I got from them, and the tab idea as well in this specific kind of organization of collections. But all that to say, the cleaning list is just for monthly, every other month, and every 6 months items in the house. It's got the thing that needs to be done, and then the month of the year. For daily and weekly tasks, we keep our chores on our refrigerator door because it's easier to reference, but this is a place where I can make sure that I'm doing everything I need to do around the house. And I've already flipped over to the life admin list. So the life admin list is something that I got from Michelle B, again mentioned earlier with the vision board, and she talks about life admin lists and life admin days as items that you need to do basically just to be an adult. So things like file your taxes, write a will. Watch this really cool transition. That was a complete accident, but I think it looks really cool. But yeah, so the life admin list is kind of those adulting tasks. And so I can just, as I think of things that need to be done someday, but don't need to be done today, but are part of kind of being a functional human in society, I can write them in that list. And then if I have extra free time, I can go back and check them off. And this is Kobold. He is my 2.5-year-old cat, and he's very sweet. And I think he knew that I was about to do my next spread, which is all about pet care. He loves being the center of attention, and he hates when I journal. And I don't know why, but he'll be popping in and out over the next section. And so this is a pet care section. This also came from Destinee Folmar Creates. I never thought to track everything regarding my pets in one collection, but now I really wish I'd thought of this sooner because it's already been super useful. There's Kobold helping out with the journal. So basically, for each of my pets, I have 3. I have a cat and 2 dogs. The pet care page, they each get their own. It has all the information that I would need to know about their microchip. It has what their current food portions are and what time of day they eat. I have their weight. So I'm going to be weighing them throughout the year. I do know that Kobold and Garnet, who's one of the dogs, both last year, we were told they both needed to lose some weight. So this is going to be my way of tracking kind of what the vet says is the goal weight, and, just checking in throughout the year and seeing if they are meeting the goal. I also have a Heartworm, Flea, and Tick section. So for each month that they take those meds, I will kind of fill that box in so I can make sure that they are taking the meds on the appropriate months. I think I'll also rate the actual date that it was taken. And then also just keeping an area to keep track of vaccines. So which vaccine is due, like what date it's due, and then what date I actually got it done for them. A place to put any appointments that are coming up or any appointments I need to schedule. A section where I can write down bath and nail trim dates and make sure that, we're keeping track of their hygiene. And then the bottom section is for health notes. So for example, Kobold has an arrhythmia, so I want to make sure that I mention that anytime we go to the vet. But also if I saw that Saber was, doing a strange behavior or something that I wanted to bring up to the vet, I can put it in the health notes so I don't forget it. And so then I just recreated that for each of the pets, and I'm going to go back and you'll see in the final flip through that their photos are going to be added in as well, just to give it a little bit more personalization. But thanks again, Destinee, for that spread idea. I'm really excited to use it. This next spread, Kobold had to be taken out of the room at that point because he started fighting with me a little bit because he doesn't like when I give the journal more attention than him. But this spread is for school things, so I am going for my master's in public health. I'm a part-time student and I also work full-time, and so trying to keep track of classes and financial aid and scholarships and all that stuff is a lot when I'm also dealing with my work and family life. So here I have a running list of just miscellaneous school tasks that need to be done. And then I have a scholarship tracker, so the name of the scholarship, what requirements it has, what the amount is, when it's due, and then if I actually submitted for it. And then I have this ideal study/assignment schedule, and what I do with that is it's just every day of the week, and I set up in an ideal week what homework would I be working on when, or how much time would I be putting to each class activity. And I used that a lot in my first semester, so I'm just gonna have that again here. And then next we're going to another spread inspired by Destinee. I really liked all of Destinee's spreads in their 2022 bullet journal setup video. But this is a monthly challenge. So basically it's just each month of the year, and I'm going to give myself a little challenge for the month, and this is where I'm gonna store them all. It's not filled in even as I'm recording this because I won't know what my schedule is gonna look like in a few months, or what I'll really want to focus on for a challenge. But I'm trying to do like 2 or 3 months at a time, getting a sense of what challenge I'd like to do. So for January, I'm doing 10 minutes of core workouts every day. I'm already a little bit behind on that, but that's okay. As long as I kind of stick to the spirit of the goal, I will be happy. In February, I'm gonna try and make one new meal that I've never made before every week. And then I have some others that I've jotted down as possible ideas. One might be, do an hour yoga video 3 times a week, or go for a walk with my partner once every week, or go to the dog park with my dogs for a certain amount of time. Several days throughout the week or something. You get the idea. But basically, if you have any ideas actually of what you think would make a fun monthly challenge, please put them below. I would definitely love to hear them. I definitely need to add some more ideas to my list for sure. And on this spread, instead of doing the gold lines the way I was doing it in the other spreads, I decided to just add gold highlights in the letters just to mix it up a little bit. So now we're going to my last spread, which is an anime/anime movie tracker. So you'll see I glued 2 pages together, but only half of them. That way I could make this little fold out, because what I wanted is for the header to say either anime tracker, or when you fold to the movies, it says anime movie tracker, because this is specifically for animated movies, or anime movies, as it were. I am obsessed with anime and manga, and you will see a video later this month, which is me reviewing every anime that I watched in 2021, and I believe there were 30, so it's gonna be a long one, but I wouldn't have been able to keep track of all that without one of these trackers. So what I'm interested in is the name of the anime, whether it was dub or sub, how many episodes it was it new or a rewatch, did I finish it, what was my rating? And for the movies, it's just, did I see the movie? What was the rating? There's just way too many things that I want to see, and I can never remember all of them. So having them listed here is really helpful for me to remember what I want to see, and then note when I've actually seen it and how I felt about it and whether I'd want to see it again. And that's the only media tracker I do in this journal. Although I am starting a reading journal as well, which you might see later this year. And now we're going to the final flip through. Thank you all so much for watching this far. I really had so much fun making this. I don't actually make super decorated spreads like this usually, because I don't have a lot of time. This took me, I think, like 8 hours or something from sketching to final kind of additions. But I really enjoyed just taking this time for myself. I don't often use collections pages as frequently as I'd like, so I thought by making them much more visually appealing and interesting, I'd actually come back to them and remember what's on them instead of just leaving them behind. And so far it's actually working. So definitely a suggestion. My dailies and monthlies are way simpler. Oftentimes it's just pen and paper and no decorative elements, although I do have all these new stickers that you're seeing in here that will hopefully add a little bit of decoration when it's when I don't have time to make a really nice design. But I hope you enjoyed watching. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I have a lot more content coming up soon that I cannot wait to share with everyone. If you made it to the end, please leave a heart emoji in the comments. Special thanks to my patrons. Without you, I wouldn't have been able to start this channel. You can follow me on all social media at Riley Rose in a Box. Also check out my Etsy if you're interested in looking at some of my art. Thank you so much for making it to the end, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.